Listen, you want to know what real dominance looks like? Picture this. One man, 1 year, the entire music industry on its knees. We're talking about Kendrick Lamar, and what he pulled off in the last 12 months wasn't just impressive. It was the kind of thing people are going to be talking about for decades.
I have to pick one, but they're all amazing. I love them all. But if I had to say, I'm going to go with Kendrick. I feel like Kendrick had the most insane year. He had everybody saying they not like us. My vote is with Kendrick, but I do love them all. But my vote is going to go for Kendrick.
Okay.
Culture shifts, the way Kendrick moved through the year like a hurricane tearing through everything in its path, you start to understand that this wasn't just another successful year for a rapper. This was history being written in real time, and we all got front row seats to witness it. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep. So hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. From the jump, Kendrick came out swinging like a man possessed. Nobody expected what was about to happen. Sure, we knew he was talented, we knew he had that gift, but what he did was something else entirely. He didn't just drop music, he dropped bombs. Each release felt like an event, like the whole world had to stop and pay attention because ignoring Kendrick wasn't an option anymore. The streets were buzzing, social media was on fire, and everywhere you turned, people were discussing, debating, dissecting every single bar, every single move he made. It was the kind of year where even people who claimed they didn't listen to hip-hop found themselves caught up in the wave, pulled into the conversation whether they wanted to be or not. That's power right there, when you transcend your own genre and become something bigger than music itself. What made it even crazier was the competition. The music industry is packed with talent, artists grinding every single day trying to make their mark, but Kendrick was operating on a different level. While others were playing checkers, this man was playing chess, thinking 10 moves ahead, strategizing in ways that left people's heads spinning. The way he dominated wasn't just about numbers, though the numbers were absolutely insane. It was about impact, about creating moments that felt seismic, like the ground was shifting beneath everyone's feet. You could feel the energy changing, the culture transforming, and at the center of it all was Kendrick, calm and calculated, executing his vision with surgical precision. People started realizing this wasn't just a hot streak, this was a masterclass in artistry, in understanding the zeitgeist and molding it to your will. The thing about Kendrick that separates him from everybody else is that he doesn't just make music for the moment. He creates work that forces you to think, to feel, to confront things you might not want to confront. His pen game is on another planet, weaving together stories and social commentary in ways that hit you right in the chest. When you listen to his work, you're not just hearing beats and rhymes, you're experiencing something deeper, something that stays with you long after the music stops playing. That's why when Sevyn Streeter spoke up about him deserving that Grammy, she knew exactly what she was saying. She understood that what Kendrick accomplished wasn't just commercially successful or critically acclaimed, it was culturally essential. In a year where the world felt chaotic and divided, Kendrick gave people something to rally around, something that spoke truth to power and didn't back down from the hard conversations. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the thing that had everyone's jaws on the floor. The way Kendrick handled his business this year, the strategic moves, the calculated releases, the way he controlled the narrative from start to finish, it was like watching a master at work. Other artists dropped albums and hoped for the best, but Kendrick curated experiences. Every rollout was an event, every single was a statement, and the anticipation built to levels that the industry hadn't seen in years. People were camping out on streaming platforms, waiting for midnight releases like it was a national holiday. The memes, the reactions, the debates that erupted online, all of it fed into this massive cultural phenomenon that Kendrick orchestrated without breaking a sweat. He understood something fundamental that a lot of artists miss, that in today's world, music is only part of the equation. You need to create a movement, build a conversation, make people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. The streets were unified in a way that felt almost unprecedented. From coast to coast, cities that normally had their own separate vibes, their own local heroes, suddenly everyone was on the same page. Kendrick had managed to do something that felt impossible in today's fractured landscape. He brought people together, not through pandering or watering down his message, but by being so authentically himself, so fearless in his artistry, that people couldn't help but respect it. The young heads were bumping his music, the OGs were nodding in approval, and even people outside the culture were taking notice. That's when you know you've transcended, when your reach extends beyond your core audience and touches people who normally wouldn't give your genre a second thought. Now, the Grammys have always been a tricky subject in hip-hop. The relationship between rap and the Recording Academy has been complicated, messy, full of controversy and perceived disrespect. Artists have boycotted, spoken out, called out the organization for not understanding or properly honoring the culture. But when it comes to Kendrick this year, the argument isn't even debatable. The body of work he put together, the impact it had, the way it dominated every conversation about music for months on end, how do you ignore that? How do you give Album of the Year to anyone else without it feeling like a slap in the face to reality itself? Sevyn Streeter wasn't alone in her assessment. She was just brave enough to say out loud what most people in the industry were already thinking. The consensus was building, the momentum was undeniable, and unless something absolutely crazy happened, Kendrick was the frontrunner and everybody knew it. What made his year even more remarkable was the versatility he displayed. Some artists find a formula and stick to it, playing it safe because they know what works. Not Kendrick. He experimented, pushed boundaries, took risks that could have blown up in his face, but instead elevated him to new heights. He showed range, moving effortlessly between different styles and approaches while maintaining that core authenticity that made him special in the first place. It was like watching a shapeshifter, someone who could adapt and evolve without it feeling forced or calculated. One moment he was introspective and vulnerable, the next he was aggressive and confrontational, and through it all you never questioned whether it was genuine. That's the mark of a true artist, someone who can explore different facets of themselves and their craft without it feeling forced or calculated. People started speculating about what a win would mean for Kendrick's legacy. He was already cemented as one of the all-time greats, that much was obvious, but adding another Album of the Year Grammy to his collection would be the exclamation point on an already legendary career. It would validate what the streets already knew, what the culture had been screaming from the rooftops, that Kendrick Lamar was operating on a different plane of existence compared to his peers. The recognition would feel deserved, earned through pure talent and hard work rather than industry politics or popularity contests. That's what made the whole situation so compelling, the sense that justice was about to be served, that merit was about to be rewarded in an industry where merit doesn't always win out. But beyond the awards and accolades, beyond the numbers and the stats, what Kendrick really accomplished this year was something money can't buy. He reminded people what great art looks like, what it feels like when an artist is firing on all cylinders and completely in their element. In a world full of distractions and disposable content, where attention spans are measured in seconds and everyone's chasing the next viral moment, Kendrick created work that demanded your attention and rewarded it. He proved that you don't have to compromise your vision or dumb down your message to reach massive audiences. You just have to be undeniably good at what you do, so good that people can't ignore you even if they wanted to. The ripple effects of his year were already visible throughout the industry. Young artists were taking notes, studying his approach, trying to understand how he managed to balance artistic integrity with commercial success. Producers were analyzing his sonic choices, the way he crafted albums that worked as cohesive statements rather than just collections of songs. Writers were breaking down his lyrics, marveling at the wordplay and the layered meanings embedded in every verse. Kendrick had become a case study in excellence, a blueprint for how to dominate without selling your soul in the process. That influence, that inspiration he provided to the next generation might end up being even more valuable than any Grammy statue. When Grammy night finally arrives, when the envelope gets opened and the winner is announced, there's going to be a collective holding of breath. People will be watching, waiting, hoping that the right decision gets made. Sevyn Streeter won't be the only one celebrating if Kendrick's name gets called. She'll be joined by millions of fans, fellow artists, and music lovers who recognize that they witnessed something special this year. The win would feel inevitable and surprising at the same time. Inevitable because of how dominant Kendrick was. Surprising because the Grammys have let us down before, and you never really know what they're going to do until it happens. But regardless of what happens on that stage, regardless of whether the Recording Academy makes the right call or not, one thing is absolutely certain. Kendrick Lamar had the most insane year anyone's had in recent memory. He changed the game, moved the culture, and reminded everyone why he's considered one of the greatest to ever do it. That's a legacy that no trophy can diminish or validate. It just is what it is, undeniable and eternal. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.